So guys, we had another community update, the number 8, and with that we have plenty of stuff to talk about, so we're gonna divide in some videos, okay? We start off with the recent nation announcements, right? So there were a lot of talks about Singapore coming to the Chinese tech tree, and a lot of feedback was done because of that, right? And they basically are changing a lot of the ideas and sharing some of the ideas for tech trees that we're gonna have in the soonish future, okay? So first of all, the Singaporean vehicles, they considered being added for the Chinese, but because of the feedback and etc., they basically are, going back with it, okay? So they're not going to add the Singaporean vehicles to the Chinese tech tree, and instead of that, they are going to get these vehicles to, whatever place is most applicable, they say, right? So it doesn't matter what tech tree, but if a flanker, for example, or not a flanker, like an F-15, sorry, not a flanker. I thought about one aircraft and I said the other. But basically an F-15, for example, of Singapore, if it's, going to be added to the game, it will be added to the according nation that fits the most, right? And not to China, which makes a lot more sense. I don't like too much of having one subtree that is spread around like that. But at the same time, I think it doesn't matter too much. At least they are adding more nations like this, right? And the Asians, they have a lot of nations that can be added that will bring a lot to the table, in regards of being subtrees, right? So I think that is very cool. It wouldn't make a lot of sense to be for the Chinese tech tree. I kind of don't like the idea of being just spread around the whole, I don't know, 4 or 5 tech trees, but at the same time, it is better than what it was before, okay? And if I was Singaporean, probably I would love to see the vehicles anyway, right? Because if I saw many Brazilian vehicles in the tech tree, and they're just spread around in all tech trees, I would still love to see them because it's my own country's, vehicle. So kind of don't mind. So if the Singaporeans don't mind with this, I don't mind as well, right? The second thing is that Israel, guys. Israel will receive Greece and Cyprus, which is insane if you think about it. So also they say that they're gonna add some Singaporean vehicles to Israel, but Greece and Cyprus, man. Greece and Cyprus is kind of crazy because we can have Rafales, Mirage 2000s, F-16s, we can have, helicopters, we can have Leopards, you can have T-80Us, you can have the Cascavel, which is Brazilian, means rattlesnake, right? But it's a Brazilian, light tank, right? With a 90mm that Cyprus did use. So we can have many interesting things, Greece and Cyprus. It is a little bit weird to have these two nations for Israel, because to be honest, they are only really close geographically, right? But at the same time, Israel is a difficult nation to, boast because of that, right? So it's I don't know. But I like the idea of having Greece and Cyprus. We can have F4s, we can have Mirage F1s, you can have F5s, F102s, you can have plenty of vehicles here for Greece and Cyprus. But yeah, the Israeli tech tree is receiving Greek and Cypriot, I think that's how you pronounce it, vehicles for their tech tree. Another thing is that Malaysia will probably be added as well. They basically are considering adding some Malaysian aircraft for Japan as well, right? So that can help as well Japan be a little bit better. So Malaysia can have some very interesting vehicles. The funny part is that, for example, they use flankers. So I wonder how they're gonna add flankers to them. I don't know. But yeah, very, very cool, right? They can have some other vehicles, F-18s apparently, MiG-29s and F-5Es and stuff. So it can be a very interesting nation. Also, they plan to basically push forward more Indonesian vehicles for Japan as well. Of course, we already had the Mi-35 being added, but now they plan to add more of these vehicles, okay? So Israelis with Greek and Cypriot vehicles, and the Japanese with Indonesian and Malaysian vehicles, with Singaporean vehicles being added if needed, in this case for Israel, okay? For China, so we go back to China that is not going to receive the Singaporean vehicles. They're going to focus more on more domestic designs, okay? So what they're gonna do is right now is that they're working on a new SAM system for China and a top jet aircraft. So the new SAM system, I don't know what it is, but the top jet aircraft is for sure something like the J-10B or C. Okay, it was something that was leaked a while back, and it makes sense. So very, very interesting. They say also that among various other vehicle developments, so we will see a lot more vehicles, not just the SAM and a top tier, like a top jet, right? So very interesting, and they say they're gonna be expanding with options provided by Pakistan, right? So Pakistan will have some, vehicles in China as well, alongside the planned domestic vehicles. Plus, they say a popular US-made main battle tank to also bolster their ranks. I mean, guys, this is a giveaway that they're gonna give the Chinese the M1A2T, probably, right? Which is a CEP V3, if I'm not mistaken, for Taiwan, right? It would make sense that at a certain point we would see that tank. I mean, the Taiwanese tanks, they're already there, right? So, yeah. So it's something that it's gonna be controversial. China will have an Abrams, probably. I mean, I don't see any other main battle tank over here because M60s and stuff, I mean, like, popular US-made main battle tank, it needs to be the Abrams, right? And they use the M1A2T, right? A2T, right? Which is the CEP V3, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, very interesting. Also, I mean, if the Chinese are receiving a CEP V3 or something like that, probably the US will receive something as well, right? So, very interesting to see. Nothing like, oh my god, but a little bit controversial at the same time. I'm excited about the new jet. Probably is the J-10C or something like that, so I'm excited. The SAM, I have no idea, so let me know in the comments what you think. And the last thing that we're going to talk about today in this particular video about the community update is that they are going to implement standalone Korean research tech tree. Yes, finally, guys, we're going to have a whole Korean tech tree. Yes, finally. This is something that I've been asking for so long because South Korea, together with North Korea, although controversial, they, on their own, still consider themselves a united country, technically, in the sense of they want to be reunited. Of course, political and other things happen, of course. Not gonna get into that, but Korea is for Koreans, right? They love to have that in mind, right? And with that in mind, guys, it's perfect to have the united South and North Korea tech. Yes, it is going to be a little bit controversial, but mostly I think for Westerns, because for the Koreans, it is the only way that would make sense, because if you add South Korea for Japan, it is a problem. And North Korea for China would be cool, but at the same time, it is a problem as well, right? So South Korea, North Korea, it is either maybe adding as their own tech tree or not adding at all. So I prefer them to add the Korean vehicles. Especially because South Korea has some very interesting tanks like the K1s. North Korea has some very interesting, Russian modified tanks, right? For example, T-series of tanks are, Chinese tanks that are modified, right? So they have some very interesting things about that. Aircraft, of course. So it's gonna be a very, very cool tech tree. And yeah, guys, finally we are seeing a South and North Korean tech tree united in one tech tree. It's just very, very cool. Really, really cool. Seriously, I love this thing. This would be my top 3 kind of tech tree that I would want. A Korean tech tree, a Yugoslavian tech tree, and a Latin American tech tree. I mean, these are the 3 tech trees that I really want to be added to the game. And finally, we are going to see the Koreans. So, very cool, very excited. And yeah, let's see how it is going to be implemented, okay? And basically, this is it, guys. Like I said, I prefer to do this video separately, so this is the first one. So, tech trees being confirmed, sub-trees being confirmed, very cool stuff. But of course, I will do other videos because we have some other confirmations of vehicles and other things being coming in the next major, okay? So, see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye, guys. See ya.